Chapter 9, Windcatcher. Tony felt more stupid than nervous. The notion of being lost in a boat seemed impossible. He attempted tacking randomly, trying to thread his way to a place he could recognize. But no matter where he sailed among the islands, he could not find his way. As more time passed, still without a familiar sighting, his nervousness increased. Then, as he rounded one of the smaller islands, he saw an anchored boat. A man was in it. Thinking he might ask for directions, he aimed for it. But as he sailed closer, he realized it was the motorboat he had been watching in Swallows Bay Harbor, the one with the treasure seekers. Painted white and yellow, she had sleek, powerful lines. A white flag with a red slash across it dangled from her stern. Tony had no idea what it meant. As Tony sailed closer, something shot out of the water by the side of the motorboat. With its black color and oddly shaped face, Tony first thought it was a seal. Then he realized it was a woman. She was wearing a face mask. Scuba tanks were on her back. Wanting to get closer so he could shout for directions, Tony sailed toward the boat. As he approached, the man noticed him. "Hey," the man said, "keep away. Can't you see the flag?" He pointed to the one at the end of his boat. "Diving." Tony yelled back, "Can you tell me how to get back to Swallows Bay Harbor?" "Keep away," the man shouted. Thinking he had not been heard, Tony continued to sail forward. "I'm trying to get to Swallows Bay Harbor," he called again. "Keep clear," the man cried, shaking a fist at him. "Away!" Wondering what that was all about, feeling frustrated and disappointed, Tony came about. Once more, he returned to the confusion of the islands, all his thoughts concentrated on getting home. It took another half hour of tacking around among the islands before Tony emerged on the other side of Wayland Island. Once there, he was sure he was seeing Swallows Bay Harbor a mile and a half away. Feeling a sense of relief, Tony took direct aim at it. Getting back with the wind behind him was not hard. The Snark moved quickly. Relaxed, certain at last he knew where he was going and what he was doing, Tony's thoughts went back to his meeting with the people in the motorboat. It angered and puzzled him that the man had been so unfriendly. He saw no reason for it. Only gradually did a new thought come. The people on the motorboat were not digging for treasure. They were diving for it. Grandma was waiting on the dock. Tony saw right away that she was not happy. "Am I late?" "Tony, it's 2:30, she said as he brought the boat to shore. "I went over to the Thimble Islands," Tony explained, "and I got lost. I didn't mean to." "Tony," she said sternly, "if you are to sail around the world, you and we're going to have to work out an understanding." "Maybe I could get a compass." "Fine," Grandma snapped, making Tony realize how worried she'd been. "I will get you one, and a watch too," she added. "You must be hungry." "I sure am." "After you eat, we'll go get them." As they went up to the house, Tony told her about seeing the treasure hunters. "You know what? They weren't digging, they were diving." "In the islands?" "Right. They even chased me off. They didn't want me near. I was only asking for directions." "Which island were they at?" Her tone had softened. "I don't know. Look at the map. Maybe you'll figure it out." Before eating, Tony got down the big map from the living room wall. It had been there for as long as Tony could remember. Now, for the first time, he really looked at it. Most of the map was of the Sound, just empty sea with bottom depths given. Tony studied the depth figures. In some places, it was very deep, even though close to shore. There, too, was Swallows Bay Harbor, along with the nearby coast. As for the Thimble Islands, they were all there, and all curiously named. "Can you tell where you were?" Grandma asked. Tony shook his head. "I was really mixed up. I didn't even know what direction I was going in." "Compass," Grandma said, as if to remind herself. "What kind of treasure would be under the water?" Tony asked. "Wet," Grandma said with a smile. "Look how deep it is here," Tony said. "But then right next to it," Grandma shook her head. "Tony, that map is old. 10 years. Things shift around. You should get a new map." "Never mind maps. Just promise to stay close to shore. Then you can use your alos." "Alos?" "Your eyes." Once Tony had eaten, they left for Guilford in search of a compass and a watch. As they were walking down Main Street to the sporting goods store, they passed an antique shop. "Look," Tony called. In the window of the antique store was a ship model very much like the one that was sitting on his dresser. How come it's there? He asked. Caro. Caro? Expensive and old. Do you think mine is as old? I told you your grandfather, he got it at a junk sale. It could still be old. Maybe. Grandma, ours is called the Swallow. If it is old, maybe it has something to do with the naming of the harbor. Tony, you may be Portuguese, and the Portuguese are always fine sailors. That doesn't keep them from drowning or getting lost, or being late for lunch and making their grandmas worry. You need the compass and watch. Come on now, the treasure can wait.